Hey everyone, I'm Ron Todd, a professional YouTuber who makes professional videos, and it's Tuesday, which means it's time for another Transformers review. So, here we go. This is WFC-S42 Impactor. He was released as part of the deluxe size class in Wave 4 of the War for Cybertron Siege toy line. As always, we'll start with the vehicle mode. So, Impactor turns into a yellow and purple tank. Of course, this is in the first tank mode in Siege. We've had Megatrons before. And to be honest, I kind of prefer Megatrons. This one just has a few issues. So, he does have sculpted treads. They're not real treads. There's 4 fake little wheels underneath. So, you can roll out, I guess, to fight the Decepticons. Okay, he doesn't roll very well, but you get the point. His turret can rotate a full 360 degrees, and you can attach effect parts to the end of his tank turret to make it look like it's shooting. A few little features I dig. I kind of like the little front scoop thing on the front of the tank mode. That just looks kind of cool. And then these little side guns that are on the side of his tank mode. I kind of like these. They can't rotate and you can't attach the effect parts, but they're kind of like those little guns on Shockwave's spaceship mode. They're just kind of a neat little detail. He has this little top cannon thing. This isn't removable for some reason, and you can't attach effect parts into it, obviously. However, you can attach his harpoon on the top there, as well as here and here. And you can attach effect parts like the one that came with Smashdown here, here, and I think that's everywhere. Pretty sure that's everywhere. Well, there's a couple right here, but it's kind of hard to get to those in tank mode. We'll save those for the robot. He has the battle damage paint, which by Wave 4, Hasbro kind of abandoned it, because it was really featured pretty prominently on like the first couple waves of figures, and then like after Wave 3, they just kind of forgot about it. Like, he had guys like Springer in Wave 3 who had a ton of it, but then, like, I don't know, later figures just kind of ignored it. But Impactor kept the battle damage paint. And unlike a lot of other people, I don't really mind it, given how this toy line is supposed to be focused on like the gritty Cybertronian war. I think it just kind of adds to the whole whatever. So, yeah, there's tank mode. It's pretty solidly built. I don't know, just something about it I'm not too fond of. The little front scoop, the little side guns, that's cool. It's overall a really decent alt mode, but just there are a few things I could have done better. Like this. You can do that. It's not meant to do that. But anyway, that's the vehicle mode out of the way. So with that done, let's move on to the box. So here's the box. It's the standard Siege Deluxe box, but with a few added tweaks. And ignore this number 20 in the corner. I actually got this guy at a flea market. He was pretty hard to find. I actually just got him earlier this year, even though he released like 2 years ago. He was just really hard to find. I really wanted him, but could never find him when he was out. So I found him at a flea market a few months ago for the same price as he would have been at regular retail. So I kind of couldn't pass up on it. But yeah, that 20 sticker is not meant to be there. That's just the price tag from the flea market I got him at. But anyway, Siege logo, Transformers logo. Has, standard stuff. Got that rank insignia on the back of the inside of the packaging, which is mirrored right there. Turn it around to the side. It says Autobot Impactor, and it says something else. This little red bar at the bottom. It says fan voted in a bunch of different languages. And basically what this is it's to indicate that Impactor for Siege, they held a poll on like their social media or whatever, the Transformers like Facebook page or something. I don't really know the specifics, but basically they were like, "Hey, we have these options for upcoming figures in this new Siege line. What do you guys want to see?" And basically you would vote for a pair of figures that would get brand new figures, in the new line. So there was Wheeljack and Spinister, then there was Trax and Needlenose, and then there was Impactor and Mirage. Obviously, Impactor and Mirage won, however, Spinister later got a toy in this line anyway. Wheeljack got a figure in Earthrise, Trax got one in Kingdom, and Needlenose just got forgotten. Poor Needlenose. But anyway, yeah, that's just to indicate that it's the fan voted. It's the winner of the fan vote. Anyway, and there's a Siege mural. Already gone over that before. You don't need to see it again. Here's the back with 3D renders of the figure. You can see robot mode and vehicle mode, and it transforms in 14 steps. There's a cross-sell for the Battle Masters Aimless and Caliburst. I've already reviewed Caliburst, and I haven't reviewed Aimless because I don't have him. And it also shows Impactor holding Aimless in his gun mode, and since I don't have Aimless, we won't be pairing those up later. Then onto the unique package art. You can see there's Iron. Why did I say Iron? This is an Ironhide. Impactor. He's like standing somewhere. I don't know. It looks like he's. Yeah, geez, what is this? Dreamwave? But yeah, he's got his gun. He's like, I don't know, wonder what that is in the background. It says Deluxe Class. But yeah, Autobot logo on the top, and then just all the junk on the bottom. So, standard Siege box, but just a little red bar added to indicate it's the fan vote winner. So, okay, just hit the camera. So, that was the box. So, let's just move on to the robot mode. So, here's Impactor's robot mode. Given this is a pretty obscure character, I'm going to have to explain to the general audiences who this guy is if you've never heard of Impactor before. So Impactor, he doesn't have any basis in the original Generation 1 cartoon. He never got a toy in the 80s, and he wasn't in the 80s cartoon. So Impactor actually started out as an original character to the comics, specifically in the United Kingdom, where he was an original character specifically for the United Kingdom comic, because the Transformers comic back in the 80s, for some reason, there were separate versions in the United Kingdom and the United States that kind of followed the same story, but the United Kingdom version had a lot more original stories, and chief among them was the elite Autobot commando group, the Wreckers, to which Impactor was their leader. And you've heard of, if you're like a fan of Transformers Prime, you've probably heard of the Wreckers before. But yeah, Impactor was the leader of the OG Wreckers team. And if you want, you can also partner him up with probably the second most famous member of the Wreckers, being Springer. So, 2 Wreckers released in this toy line. But, yeah. So, Impactor was the leader of the Wreckers, and he got killed in their first story. And he didn't really do much after that, but, he kind of became a fan favorite character over the United Kingdom, and he was a pretty obscure guy. And then IDW Comics kind of reinvented the character and made him much cooler, I guess. I don't know. If you want to, know more about what I mean by they made him cooler or whatever, read Last Stand of the Wreckers. It's a really good comic, little mini series IDW put out a number of years ago. It's really good. Like, basically, it's like Impactor and Springer and a few other guys. They have to go on this rescue mission to. Basically, there's this crazy Decepticon who's holding this Autobot prison hostage, and the Wreckers are sent in to go take down the Decepticon. That's all the spoilers I'm gonna give you. Okay, it's a pretty good story. If you haven't read it, you should. But yeah, so that's Impactor, leader of the Wreckers. Overall, cool guy, I guess. I don't know. Kind of a jerk in the comics, though. Or at least in the IDW ones. But yeah, so that's Impactor. In terms of articulation, he has standard stuff for a Siege Deluxe. Baldwin with the head, sort of. He can't really move his head up and down. can swivel it, left and right. Universal joint at the shoulder, so you can move his arm out and all the way around. Bend at the elbow, swivel at the elbow. He does not have wrist swivels, waist swivel. Universal joint at the hip, so you can move his leg out, and that's on a ratchet. Forward and back, swivel at the knee, I guess, instead of at the thigh. Bend at the knee, and then swivel at the ankles, which for some reason is the opposite direction as opposed to every other figure on this line. So yeah, good range of articulation. In terms of accessories, he comes with 2 accessories. The first one is his gun, which the instructions call the HP Energon Mine Blaster. This is probably an homage to the IDW Comics version, who started out as a miner. Of course, you can put it in his hand, and as with Megatron, his accessory forms the tank barrel, so if you lose this accessory, good luck. Of course, you can still attach the effect parts to the end. And then his second accessory, and probably his most important one, is this little thing. The instructions call this the Trilithium Drill. However, it's not really a drill, it's a harpoon. So you can, of course, put it in his hand if you're a complete madman. However, this one's kind of interesting. He has this feature where you can rotate the fists inside his arms. You can do this on both of them, and I'm just going to do it on his right. And it has a hole on the other end. And you just plug that in there. So one of Impactor's most famous features is his harpoon hand. So, of course, it's a nice touch they added that in. Of course, this is how I display it, because I'm not a complete maniac. So, yeah, I'm just going to leave this in for the rest of the video, because that's how Impactor should be. He also has his shoulder cannon at the top, which, it's not removable for whatever reason. It's just on a swivel. And, yeah, you can't fit the effects parts on there. You can't. You can on the harpoon, though, if you want to pretend it's a gun. Which, hey, if you want to, that's fine. As with every Siege figure, he has all those holes all over his body that allow you to put the gun wherever. You got 2 on either arm, 1 on either leg. I just hit the camera. And then 1 on top of the shoulder cannon, and also 1 underneath it for some reason. And then 1 on his back, and then 2 on his feet if you want to attach like weaponizers like COG onto them. And of course, you can attach the effect parts directly to the figure as well. You got 1 on either shoulder. It's in the same spot on both shoulders, so I'll just do it on 1, and that causes him to fall over. Looks like he has 1 on his chest, but the shoulder cannon's in the way. Okay, so I can't fit this because of the cannon. However, I can attach blowpipes. I honestly feel like we could have remedied this by just putting it on the opposite side of his chest. And then it looks like there's 1 on either leg. Can't really fit it on there too well, but And then there's 1 on both legs, so. And he fell over again, okay. So, yeah. I do like this figure is very solidly built. As with Ironhide and Hound, they look like figures that could just rough you up if you get on their bad side. Maybe not as much with Ironhide, but, the robot mode looks great, is what I'm saying. And given how this is, like, the first actual Impactor toy, we haven't really had very many Impactor toys. We had 1 on the in the Fall of Cybertron toy line, which looked nothing like him. Then we had 1 a few years later, which is a convention exclusive, and again, looked nothing like him, apart from colors and head. And then you get this. This is the definitive Impactor toy, in my opinion. And if you want to get one that's more based off the IDW comics, they released a special version in a 2-pack with Mirage that had the new IDW-based head, a few caution stripes, like the IDW version, and also a Decepticon symbol for some reason, because Hasbro thinks Impactor's a Decepticon, because he was a Decepticon in that 2-pack, and then he was also a Decepticon in the Netflix cartoon for some reason. Admittedly, he did go through a redemption arc, but I don't know. And for some reason, he has the Autobot symbol in purple, like a Decepticon symbol. So I don't know what Hasbro's deal is with that. But yeah, as amoral and kind of a not very nice person as he is, Impactor is still an Autobot through and through. So, yeah. So anyway, that's my review of Impactor. He's a pretty solidly built figure. I have a few issues with the tank mode, but the robot mode is overall pretty solid. So I'd say if you're a fan of the Wreckers, or like if you're a fan of the IDW comics, then you should definitely pick this up. Because, I mean, come on, when else are we going to get an Impactor toy this good? So, yeah, that's my review of Impactor. And, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and all that stuff. That would be nice. And tune in next week as we review, oh gosh, what was his name? Rang. Ah, crap. I can't remember his name. Sorry, guys, but I have a feeling I'll remember it next week. So tune in next week as we review Eyebrows. Eyebrows, that's his name. Yeah, definitely Eyebrows. This has been Ron Todd signing off.